Well, I thought we had started a while ago.
Technically, no.
Well,
Here we
are. Welcome to Murder Fucking Schmurder, everybody.
Yeah, get ready for a fun-filled episode where we're all on our A game because we started at the right time.
Yeah.
I'm Joseph.
I'm Austin, full of patience.
Saintly. Saint Joseph.
I want you to know that our listeners don't know if we ever start late or on time. They don't give it.
Well,
they
now
don't know.
they know.
Yeah,
now
you know
they
what?
fucking know.
Pulling the curtain back. Don't look at the man behind it. Yeah, it's an asshole.
Yeah, we're pulling.
It's a big floating asshole that shits out advice. Oh, you want a brain? That's what it's like.
How about a heart?
It's a big green asshole.
Well,
Oh, you want to go home? We all want lots of things.
I'd like to be not a disembodied floating asshole.
Well, I'm Grant, and welcome to Murder Schmurder.
Not no way, not no how.
This is how we start episodes now,
This is how it happens.
and I love it.
Just complaining like it's a real job.
It's not, but if you want it to be, you gotta put some time into it.
It only took four seasons for us to fucking just be at each other's throats.
Well, the wonderful thing is this is season 4, episode 13. So
How?
Yeah.
we've been doing this for a little while.
I know, because
We've
we
not gotten much better.
I think we're on our A game right now.
I can't wait until we break up like the Beatles.
you make a big thing out of it and it gets like 2 likes on Instagram.
Yeah, nobody cares.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to be the one with the Yoko girlfriend.
Yeah, for sure. The one that you invite to all the episodes from here on out just for her to be like, "Ah!" in the fucking microphone.
Yeah, I'm gonna get the red alert text. Oh my God, Joseph, I met the one. She's the most annoying woman in the world, and she's got 2 kids. And you know what? She's only a little bit like mad all the time.
Yeah.
I'm gonna bring her by. Oh my God, you're gonna love her.
I'm going to be the one that's killed by his own fan.
Dude, I
Yeah.
love when Joseph...
I'm gonna be the one that gets cancer.
Grant will outlive all of us.
Yeah.
You know, go on tours for the rest of his
Just be
life.
Hell, you
Right.
say. All right,
Right.
but that's very wrong, but sweet. Well, maybe I'll do like the like a Keith Richards kind of a thing.
Yeah.
You know.
I feel like
Snort
it's-
your dad's ashes
Well, sure, but there's
mixed
this,
with heroin.
you know, like the Simpsons episode where Mr. Burns had like too many diseases and germs kind of get through.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
doctor,
Yeah.
he's using little plush toys. It's like, I like to call it the Three Stooges effect. It's just, there's so many diseases and germs in your body. They're all competing and they can't get through the doorway.
No. A slight breeze. Invincible.
Yes, that's how I live for it. That's for sure.
For the record, I was telling Joseph, what's it called? Like, red alert, I met the love of my life. Pretty much he ends his response with, so what's her deal? Like, what's wrong with her?
Because I know there's a deal.
There's nothing, or it's just like everything's hunky-dory, it's going to be a good relationship. No.
Yeah.
Okay,
She's got 2 kids.
She's got 2 kids and no legs.
Jamie will always like leave with some like, yeah, I met this girl. She's really cool. Her name's Marissa. She's this half Asian lady, total baddie who works in high finance. And yeah, she's got 3 kids and already cut off one of my toes. What do you think? Green flag, red flag?
Is this
I
bad?
love how whenever he tells you the bad news, he puts both of his hands up, like guns up in the air, and then he like points them at you.
Yeah.
I do that?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah,
Joseph
it's a
does
quick
that.
emotion. You do like the
Yeah,
nobody
you do
can
that
see
a
what
lot.
I'm
Put
doing.
your shoulders into
Yeah.
it.
I don't think I do that.
You do
Yeah,
that
you-
way
you
more
do
than
it.
you think you do.
100%.
You do it just like you say, what's it called?
I think you're making that
It's
up.
subconscious.
Or nevertheless.
Nevertheless,
I
it's a big
never
one.
say nevertheless.
And then-
Are you actually joking?
I can't remember the last time I've said nevertheless.
All right, listeners,
Of
it's
our
your
few
job
listeners,
to
Yeah, you guys get to go back
Right.
in through the feed.
right. Time to start a drinking game.
Yeah. If you send us a
Or,
timestamp where Jamie says nevertheless, I will literally mail you $10.
I think we should all mail $10. That's $40 right
That's
now.
$40 whole dollars, which means we'll be in the red for this month
Which
for
is-
the podcast.
And it's also the quickest math I think I've ever done in my entire life. So
yeah,
that's how serious I am.
that's right. Austin did math.
Fucking
We'll just share the glass. You got it now?
Is that a glass of Fernet? Just
sir.
Fernet?
Yes, sir.
Jesus.
I missed that.
We're sharing it.
Okay. Makes you feel better.
All right, Grant, you got a opener for us?
Yeah, a little bit of opener. Show of audible hands. Who picks their nose on a fairly
I
regular
do.
basis?
Audibly,
I do, for
yes.
I do as well.
We got a room full of nose pickers?
Booger pickers.
Who doesn't pick their nose?
There are people out there that I've interacted with that are like, ugh, gross, you pick your nose. I'm like, wait, you don't pick
They're
your
lying
nose?
to you.
Yeah,
Yeah, right.
that's a straight lie.
Yeah.
So let me,
Oh, dude, I wake up in the morning and I'm just like honking. Like,
Oh, dude, sometimes you do the snot rocket.
Yeah.
You got to.
you got to.
Yeah, especially in the shower, you got a nice
Oh,
wet
my
finger.
God. When the
Yeah.
steam's coming in.
Shower
actually-
snot rockets,
Oh,
man.
dude, how many times have I just snotted onto my own dick? It's
Jesus.
happened at least twice.
Gross.
Yeah, I know.
It'll get me in the leg.
where is your penis in this scenario?
I'm looking down while I'm doing it. 'cause I'm
Okay.
like,
So you got a real
aiming
snot
for the
rocket
sink.
going.
Yeah, sometimes
Okay.
it just like
Got it.
goes all over the place.
Misfire. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, to just add to the overall, brightness, levity, the beautiful world that we all live in. A new review
Which world?
advances the hypothesis that nose picking could play a role in increasing the risk of developing Alzheimer's disease.
Oh, no. What?
Hang
Am I
on.
getting my brain?
Yeah, doing it causes Alzheimer's?
Yeah. So this is this is sciencealert.com because it's just way easier and faster to read. But I did actually look into this. There's a legitimate scientific study. They found that roughly 92% of Alzheimer's patients that they're currently studying were nose pickers, right? It's one of those. This is the article again. It's one of those ideas that sounds daft initially, but makes sense if you think about it. Simply put, bacteria and viruses on your fingers are getting an easy ride into your system if you stick them up your nose.
Okay.
So basically the nasal cavity has a direct path to your brain, right?
That's why you do coke there.
And exactly. No, seriously, that's
Yeah,
why you
'cause it gets
snort
up in there.
drugs, because it's immediate. You know, all the bacteria and germs that live on your finger and especially underneath your fingernail can get into your nasal cavity, go to your brain. One of the biggest issues with Alzheimer's disease is swelling of different areas. The hippocampus is a really big one. And apparently a lot of these bacteria can cause neurological swelling.
Is that where hippos go to school?
Yes, it is.
At
Very
the
good. Yes,
hippocampus?
this is the campus of hippos. Very good, Joseph.
I'm here all day, all night, whatever.
For the next couple hours.
So you said 92% of Alzheimer's patients?
Yeah, that was one thing that I had heard, and then I looked into it, and it's pretty close to that.
I'm going
thing.
to I'll say it. The 8% that said they don't pick their nose, they're liars as well.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's kind of why I wanted to bring this up to the
This
table.
sounds more like a coincidence than anything.
That's also what I'm thinking.
You know?
But now, if looking at they're still looking into it. This is one of those things where they're like, oh shit, is that a thing? And now they're looking into it.
Yeah.
So they very well could, not that long from now, be like, our bad. We looked into it. It was
sounds
false,
like
you know,
clickbait
but-
because most nose
pretty
pickers
clickbaity, of
that
course. Yeah.
say that they're not nose pickers are nose pickers.
Or just line nose pickers.
They might be those weird,
That was the dumbest thing I've ever said.
They might be
No,
those.
it's not.
It's close.
It's
It was
down
close.
They might be those weird bathroom tissue nose pickers. They put a tissue around their finger and then pick their nose in the bathroom.
there. That's
in the
no way to
private.
live life.
Yeah.
I agree.
That's okay.
And so-
People who don't pick their nose, how do you get the boogers out?
Yeah.
I don't know. I think they.
How do you get the ones that are really
Like
in
the
there?
stubborn ones.
Yeah.
You just leave them in there. You got a fucking.
I'm gonna
cage
go ahead and
full of
say-
I'm going to
bats?
say that's unsanitary,
Right.
leaving them in there.
Let's throw in some science here.
Yes. Hit us with science, Dr. Jamie.
Now, the real science, if you wanted to really put this to the test, then you would ask people, especially into elderly ages, if they have, make sure they don't have Alzheimer's, and then ask them if they're nose pickers.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You would assume most people pick their nose, especially old people. Old people don't give a shit about anything.
Yeah.
So if
I'm 34 and I already don't give a shit about anything.
so, what I'm saying is,
It happens sooner for some people.
if like
Picture me at
100%.
85.
oh my God, can't even.
I mean, I'd be dead, but
Let's
still.
let's say let's lowball and just say the same thing. 92% of these people with no Alzheimer's pick their nose. It's well, you already just debunked it right there. How hard could that be to
Yeah,
just
yeah.
debunk this with one more study?
Which we could be on that. I just thought honestly it'd be a really fun conversation to have in general. But it's that weird thing too of I hear this in a podcast I'm listening to, and I'm like, son of a bitch. And then I'm like, that can't be real. And I look into it, and I'm reading some scientific studies. I was like, fuck, they're kind of onto something here. And then it's to the point where, like, I'm driving, and I'm, like, about to pick my nose. I'm like, oh, shit. So basically what they're saying now is that if you do want to pick your nose, you should wash your hands first. So first of all,
I'm amenable to that. I mean, you should be washing your hands somewhat frequently anyway.
Yes,
I'm
you
usually in the shower anyway.
but if I'm
hands are
driving
clean.
and I got a boogie,
I'm gonna pick it.
I'm
that
taking it
boogie's
out.
getting out.
Yeah.
You know? And it's
That
either
gold's
gonna
getting dug.
It's either going to get, flicked or swiped. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Do you
mean,
sw-
like, yeah.
do you, where do you put the boogers in the car?
oh, no.
You got to flick them
Back
out the
of the
window.
knee.
Out the
You
window.
got to flick them out the window.
Yeah.
Flick it out the window or wipe it on the back of the knee, on the pants.
That's a
You know what you can
genius
do?
spot. I didn't think about that.
You know what else you can do?
Because it gets rubbed off
You can wipe
naturally.
it under the driver's seat.
But your own driver's
You
seat?
got to sell that thing sometime. And then
Not when you have a $200 Chevy Beater that you don't give a fuck about. You're just
gonna have
fucking scraping them
you're just
under
gonna
there.
have
You
a
think
big
the
old
mechanic's
odometer,
going to be
though.
like, you've been scraping. Oh, my
dude,
God.
it looks like the underside of a desk in detention.
Look,
There's like
fucking
gang signs and
booger
shit
chair,
carved
man.
into it.
if the odometer's maxed out, wipe whatever you want.
cares?
Anywhere you want.
Yeah,
you
dude,
know?
bare ass farting into the seat. I don't give a fuck anymore.
I mean, I guess, if you're just flicking on the floor of your car, I mean, like,
Is that better? Because then you're stepping in it. It goes all over the
if you
place.
step in it and it sticks to your shoe on your way out, it's gonna fall off in your travels.
That's true.
you know?
Also,
in your
I mean,
travels.
the floor mat, I mean, that's a no man's land. Like,
Yeah.
if
Yeah.
you ever stepped in dog shit and you're in a hurry, you try and get some of it off, but you're
Yeah.
still
But you're not
hopping in
getting-
your
yeah.
car.
You
and
find your
driving
patch of
away.
grass, you do your scrapes, but really,
Yeah.
how much is off?
Dog shit's on that floor mat.
It's on the
It's
on
mixing in with the cigarette ash and the wrappers and the plastic and
the pennies.
the pennies. God, the pennies.
Okay, help me out real quick, guys. So I'm thinking in my head, picking your nose is the natural order of things. Like apes do it, monkeys do it.
Mhm.
If
If you have fingers
how
in
many
the
you got
monkeys
fingers
got
in a nose,
Alzheimer's?
that's
You're
what-
picking.
You're picking your nose.
Yeah, that's what it's for.
Yeah. Like for us to just this is like what's wrong with mankind. Mankind comes in and just like, nope, we don't do that anymore. It's like,
What do you mean?
we're
Give
like,
in to the beast, man.
yeah, it's okay. We're not supposed to have the internet.
Yeah. Drink your hard Mountain Dew and pick your nose.
Yeah.
Have you guys tried the hard Mountain Dew?
Yeah, it's sadly okay.
Oh, I'm afraid of it.
It made me mad because I saw it and I laughed at it, and then I saw it again and I was like, that's so ridiculous. And then I saw it a third time and I bought it, and then I had it and I was like, damn it, this isn't that bad.
It's not that I'm worried that it'd be bad. I'm more worried.
Advertising.
Yeah.
Like, I just imagine it's like extremely bad for you.
Oh,
Oh, I'm
obviously.
sure it's awful.
Obviously.
Regular Mountain Dew is extremely bad.
Well, that's what
for
I'm
you.
saying. It's like
You
it's-
mix booze with it. I feel like Grant's inner Kid Rock is like, buy it. Come on, man, buy it.
Dude,
Shit,
I
it looks so good.
lived on Mountain Dew when I
Yeah,
was a
I
kid.
know.
My name is Kid.
You call it statutory, I call it mandatory.
God.
Actual lyric from Osmosis Jones. From the song in Osmosis
That
Jones.
is true.
Is that Kid
is true.
Rock?
That was
Yeah.
Kid Rock.
God
yeah.
damn.
I know.
He's a delightful human being.
Dude,
He's great for society.
dude,
He's doing good. He's doing the Lord's work.
He actually,
Lord's
he
work.
actually puts a lot of money into Detroit. Like, that's the thing that he does.
That's true.
Well, I mean,
I'm not saying
Nazi
I'm not
scientists
saying-
got us to the
I'm
moon.
not saying all the bad. I'm not saying all the bad stuff isn't there. You know, it's-
I mean, if you want to do this one about us, I mean, I guess we could, but is this really what Kid Rock's a hero.
I will say this. So two things. I'm rewatching. I rewatched what's it called? Joe Dirt last night, and it has Kid Rock in it.
Oh yeah,
Dude, that is the perfect role for Kid Rock. The shit bag who tries to steal the main character's girlfriend.
Def Leppard sucks.
yeah, yeah.
Who is also like semi-illiterate.
Yeah. So like in that context, he's not a great actor. It's just the role he was born,
He's
to,
born
play.
to play. But I will. So what I want to say though is, I remember I had this guest, and where I work, I meet a lot of really interesting people, and I don't know what it is about me, but I think I attract conservatives, and they think they can just like they can just confide in me and tell me anything that's on their mind.
But you're not white.
It confuses me.
I feel like to conservatives, and I'm not saying this is how I read you, but I'm saying there might be like a one of the good ones vibe.
You are of
That's
them.
yeah. That's the vibe. That, like they think.
I don't know why you're serving that to them or why they're perceiving that from you.
I don't know, but one of them was just like, "You're a good one. I can tell you're a true American."
Did they really?
They told me that, and I was like,
true
"Oh,
American.
what?" And they were like, "We don't have a lot of true Americans left.
Real
All we really got is
American
Donald Trump
hero."
and Kid Rock." And I'm like, "You're gonna put those two?" Like one in the same room and two
That's
like
all you
on the like they're putting them on the mantle like thank God for America.
I am a real American. For the
So, it's really just you, Donald Trump, Kid Rock, and Hulk Hogan, really. It's
Hell yeah, brother.
The 4 pillars of America.
Put us on Rotten Mushroom. I know the first 3, but who's that 4th guy? That's Jamie. You'll get to know him soon enough.
I've never looked a piece of stone look so confused. It's almost like why am I up here?
I've never seen an embarrassed statue.
Oh, I
Is
love
he
the idea.
grimacing?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie. If I was on Mount Rushmore, like if they redid it, I'm there. First date.
Yes.
That's where we're going every time.
In the alternate reality where they redo Mount Rushmore and Jaime's one of the 4. What went wrong in this reality?
It's the first date. He brings her out there in the middle of the night. And he like turns the lights on. He just points up there.
That's
I don't know if you know. Look familiar?
I don't know if you see that big ass rock over there, but that's my dick. And it's to scale.
They said it couldn't be done, but
They're gonna mount it next month. It's no big deal.
Yeah. Once they get a stonemason with big enough tools, they're going to circumcise it.
where are you going? Why are you?
Why are you
come
going?
back? Come back.
There's nowhere you can run to. We're out in the middle of nowhere. Come back.
You mean that really big rock that looks like a caterpillar coming out of its cocoon?
Let's not get into what it looks like. Okay? Just enjoy it for what it is, okay?
A lot of field trips have taken their pictures near that. I don't know why.
Nice.
Listen.
In that alternate universe, universal healthcare is well and alive.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I did that.
That's in the pros column. There's a check right there.
Yeah.
What's another pro in that alternate universe?
Free housing,
Free housing. I'll allow that too.
free food and water.
I'm gonna say free energy. We figured out like
Free
kind of
energy
Tony
is
Stark kind of
good.
thing.
We went
We've
nuclear.
gotten close a few times, but they just don't let that shit
We
happen.
banned those really intense halogen headlights.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Every time I see someone's behind me with one of those, I just want to fucking pull them over and beat their
Oh,
ass.
same.
But
God.
also, like, yeah, it's like they're so bright. It looks like the sun is in your car.
It's just fucking searing your retinas. Dude, if I was president, I'm not at all exaggerating right now. It wouldn't be the first executive order I signed, but it would be in the top 5.
Yeah. Also, Joseph, buy a truck. It's awesome.
Yeah, I
because
know.
those assholes are beneath the line of my truck bed.
Yeah.
So when they're riding my ass, I don't even know they're there. And then they'll like kind of, we'll take a sharp turn together or something, and I'll catch it in my side view mirror, and I'm like, God damn, that's bright. Wait, there's somebody back there? And then I think, well, if I slam on the brakes, they're just going to hit my hitch.
Yeah.
So fuck them.
Having a truck is nice.
It's
Yeah.
pretty great.
It's pretty awesome.
Gotta get back into the truck game.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
You can just move your shit whenever you need to.
Yeah.
It's fucking great.
Yeah, you can move yourself.
Yeah.
It's great.
You just cruise slowly with friends in the flatbed, just all fucking, oh, cool.
Yeah, just get some tie downs.
Yeah.
Aren't you guys ready to tuck in and listen to me read for a little while?
Let's
Hell
do it.
yeah, dude.
I'm already tucked in, baby.
Okay, sweet.
That's me tucked in. Let's do it.
Honk shoe.
So, the last time I hosted the podcast, we covered what happened to Abraham Lincoln's body after he was assassinated.
Wait, Abraham Lincoln was assassinated?
Oh,
Sorry.
yes, absolutely. If you need
Breaking
help,
news.
go back and listen to the Abraham Lincoln episode.
Okay, cool.
That you were on, sadly.
So
enough.
can I go sit in my car, listen to the episode, and come back in?
Yeah,
All
for
right,
sure,
cool.
for sure.
Doesn't drive anywhere, just car on.
Yeah, I'm just sitting there.
In my garage.
I'm getting dizzy. Oh, well.
I'll just rev the engine.
That'll warm me up.
Getting cold.
All right, but what about the man who assassinated him?
Booth?
Yeah.
What?
John Wilkes Booth was born on May 10th, 1838 in Maryland.
Damn, that's old.
To a famed English Shakespearean actor and known drunk, Junius Brutus Booth.
Junius.
Junius?
Is that like on his tombstone?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Shakespearean
That's
actor,
his legal
known drunk.
name, my guy.
Honestly, best tombstone ever.
No, apparently, he was a really pretty good Shakespearean actor, but also the town drunk.
But he was a great drunk. Pretty good actor, great drunk.
Better drunk.
And John
Same
Wilkes
here.
Booth and
That's-
his dad with the crazy ass name was birthed by his mistress, Mary Ann Holmes. So it's not even like a full on, I guess, a legitimate birth if we're thinking old times.
So he's like a
socialism.
bastard?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He was the 9th of 10 children. Booth was
Oh my
athletic and popular. He became skilled at horsemanship and fencing. He grew up on his father's farm that was maintained
guard.
by slave labor, and
Oh.
from that cultivated a deep sense of bigotry and hatred.
That would do it.
Yeah,
You
of
don't
course.
say.
Uh-huh, yeah. I mean, it's
It
the
didn't
guy
make
that-
him a good person?
Before we get too far into this, I
Yeah.
should let you know because we're talking about Lincoln's
I swear to God, I thought you were
Oh,
going to say slavery. I swear, I was not prepared for what you were about to say.
Speaking of Lincoln,
Listen, we've all had slaves,
speaking
right?
of
Haven't we?
Lincolns, I just recently got a Lincoln for a new car, and I named her Mary Todd after
Oh, nice.
Abraham Lincoln.
That's
Look
cute.
at you. That's great.
Yeah, you're
Weird
welcome.
time to chime in, but
Well,
I meant to
also-
do it earlier, but you know.
I will say on that note, though, if you pick a lady up in the car and you tell her the name of the car and she doesn't get it, just pull over and drop her ass off
Exactly, right.
immediately.
100%.
Not worth
You
your
don't know
time.
who fucking Mary Todd Lincoln is?
Yeah,
you're
not
done.
worth your time.
If you don't get a giggle, date's over.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he attended the Bel Air Academy and was an indifferent student whom the headmaster thought was, quote, not deficient in intelligence, but disciplined to take advantage of the educational opportunities offered him.
Oh,
That's
They-
concise.
They spoke weird back then, but he's just a shithead. Just
Yeah,
a smart
basically.
little shithead. Yeah.
He knows what he can get away with, and he doesn't
Exactly.
really give a shit.
Yeah.
Sure.
Later, while attending the Milton boarding school, Booth met a Romani fortune teller who read his palm and pronounced a grim destiny, telling him that he would have a grand but short life, doomed to die young, and, quote, meeting a bad end.
That's
this
badass.
I know.
Yeah.
So this is a quote from the fortune teller. You'll break hearts, but they'll mean nothing to you. You'll die young and leave many to mourn you. You'll make a bad end. Young sir, I've never seen a worse hand, and I wish I hadn't seen it. But if I were a girl, I would follow you through the world for your handsome face.
well, damn.
Damn.
We need more fortune tellers like that. 'Cause
Yeah, right?
That'll kind of riz you up while they're
You,
prophesizing your doom.
You trying to tell me my fortune, or are you just happy to see me?
Yeah, right.
Nice. His sister recalled that he wrote down that palm reader's prediction, showed it to his family and others, and often discussed it during moments of melancholy. He left school at 14 after his father died. By age 16, Booth was interested in the theater and in politics, and he became a delegate from Bel Air to rally by the Know Nothing Party for Henry Winter Davis, which was an anti-immigrant party's candidate for Congress in the 1854 election. So, from an early age, we know where this guy stands.
I feel like I heard about the Know Nothing Party in school, but it's been a hot minute. Grant, do you have a summary of the Know Nothing Party?
Let's call them the predecessors of the Tea Party,
Oh,
if we all can remember the Tea Party well enough.
yeah, I remember.
Yeah, during like kind of like the Bush era.
Yeah.
Yeah. Booth aspired to follow in the footsteps of his father and his actor brothers Edwin and Junius Brutus Jr.
Oh, he got the junior?
Yeah, he got the junior.
Damn, spurned.
He began practicing elocution daily in the woods around Tudor Hall and studying Shakespeare. His sister reported that Booth wanted more out of life, often yelling, "I must have fame! Fame!"
I mean, I do that in the shower, but like,
I do that when I'm touching myself.
I'm close. I must have fame.
I must have fame!
Hang on. So,
You casting couch yourself.
to summarize,
That's exactly what
he's
I'm doing.
not very well educated, but he's just like, I could do politics. Also, I need to be famous.
Yeah.
It sounds like he was.
Well, I mean,
People thought he was smart. I
at
guess
this point, he is smart,
Right.
intrinsically intelligent. But he was interested in acting and politics. Those are two just sluts for the spotlight. I mean,
Yeah.
That's true.
yeah,
God, terrible overlap between those two.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like now I'm thinking he's not into the politics because he like enjoys like debate or enjoys like helping people or like different programs that actually like change society.
He enjoys standing on a stage and people watching him.
Isn't that why all politicians get into it? The attention and
Nowadays.
the opportunity
Nowadays.
to tell people
Yeah.
what to do.
I mean, there's the boring ones that nobody knows their name of that actually like politics and are trying to make some kind of a positive change, at least from their viewpoint. But the rest of them, no, they just want to be heard.
Make a quick buck.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's for sure. From there, he joined an acting troupe in Richmond, Virginia to try to be a famous actor like his father. He seemed to shine most in roles of Shakespeare's plays, as the villain and as a protagonist. Some critics called Booth the handsomest man in America and a natural genius.
America
And
wasn't very
noted-
big in those days.
And noted,
There were a lot of uggos in America back then.
and noted his having an astonishing memory. Others were mixed in their estimation of his acting. He stood 5 feet 8 inches tall, had jet black hair, and was lean and athletic.
That's actually like perfect build for an actor. Not too tall, not too short. You know.
I mean, seriously, like he kind of was like sort of perfect for stage at that time period. Noted Civil War reporter George Alfred Townsend described him as a muscular, perfect man with curling
Shit.
hair like a Corinthian capital.
God damn.
By
I'm
the
not
way,
gay or nothing, but you know.
George Townsend,
I certainly ain't no Corinthian capital either.
dude, George Townsend wrote a lot about his appearance, and I swear to God, that dude just had a massive crush on him in an era where you could be killed for being
It reminds me
gay.
of that 30 Rock line where it's like, back in my day, it wasn't called gay. It was just feeling another man's power. He's like, I'm not gay or nothing, but he just looks
Yeah.
like a Corinthian king. that
Yeah,
should
yeah, yeah.
Be lathered in luscious milk.
So Booth's stage performances were often characterized by his contemporaries.
Look at those
as-
cum gutters.
Do you have to call them cum gutters? I mean,
Sorry, ivory cum gutters. I mean, fuck. God, I bet he tastes sweet.
So Booth on stage, he was. People said at the time that he was acrobatic and intensely physical, with him leaping upon the stage and gesturing with passion.
Yeah.
He was said to be an excellent swordsman.
Yeah, I bet
Yeah, I bet
he was.
it was.
Although a fellow actor once recalled that Booth occasionally cut himself with his own sword.
We've all been there.
I mean, that
Am I
happens,
right?
you know.
So as the 1850s drew to a close, Booth was becoming wealthy as an actor, earning about $20,000 a year,
Wow.
which is equivalent to about $700,000.
God
That's
damn,
wild.
JWB.
Yeah. Booth was also strongly opposed to the abolitionists.
Oh.
He even attended the hanging of abolitionist leader John Brown on December 2nd, 1859,
Fuck, John Brown's awesome.
who was executed for treason, murder, and inciting a slave insurrection.
Hell yeah, like I said, awesome.
Yeah.
Damn, Grant. You really had me on the Booth train.
I know. I kind of hate that. I was like, man, Booth is awesome. And then you just fucking pulled the rug
Yeah.
out from under me. And I remember who he was.
Oh, right.
Oh, that's right. He did that whole thing.
John Wilkes.
Oh,
Right,
sorry.
That guy. Charges resulting from Brown's raid on the Federal Army at Harper's Ferry, Virginia.
God.
So that's why he was.
Anyone who doesn't know who John Brown is, seriously pause this podcast and go
dude.
check it out. It's an amazing story.
He's a badass, seriously. So Booth had been rehearsing at the Richmond Theater when he read the newspaper about Brown's upcoming execution. So to gain access that the public didn't have, he borrowed a uniform of the volunteer militia that was guarding against a possible attempt to rescue Brown.
Damn.
Yeah.
Damn.
When Brown was hanged for that incident, Booth stood near the scaffold and afterwards expressed great satisfaction with Brown's fate.
Fuck you, John Wilkes.
I'm taking down my John Wilkes Booth posters in my room. I don't care about his Corinthian curls.
Okay, quick question. So, we all know Kanye's kind of a piece of shit, right?
Oh boy, where's his
Yeah.
line?
I still love
Kind of.
Kanye. I still listen
Oh,
to
the
his
music?
Yeah, I still
Oh.
love his music. And I'll still be like, I'm just separating the art that I love from the artist. Do you think someone back in the day, maybe a slave?
Hated his ass, but saw a play at one point. I was like, man, that dude can act.
I mean, I don't know how
That
many
dude
shows
still-
they put on for enslaved folks.
He's got chops.
There were times where there was like a side pit with horrible view and you couldn't really hear. That was like free.
Oh,
Certain slave owners would let them go see the plays and stuff, but
and they complain. What's happening to this country?
all right, Austin, the bar has been lowered, sir.
Austin, how could you?
Wait a minute. I'm just listening to we all sound the same bullshit.
No. I'm just letting
saying
you know
the bar has
that
been
bar has
lowered.
been lowered. so-
Oh,
yeah.
so okay, you're setting me up.
Yeah.
Don't you worry, I'm coming.
You keep talking about slavery. Eventually, Austin's going to say something.
I'm already at half mast right now. Let's go.
Woo!
Abraham Lincoln was elected president on November 6, 1860. And the following month, Booth... The following month, Booth drafted a long speech that described Northern abolitionism and made clear his strong support of the South and the institution of slavery.
Sure.
As the 1864 presidential election grew near, the Confederacy's prospects for victory were ebbing, and the war increasingly favored the North. The likelihood of Lincoln's reelection filled Booth with rage towards the president, whom
Where was-
Booth blamed for the war and all the South's troubles.
Where was he born again? John Wilkes Booth?
Ugh. Let me go back up.
I just want to know if he has like this love for the South and like slavery, and he's from the South, which I can.
No,
get.
he's from Maryland.
Well, that's technically the South, isn't it?
No.
No,
I think that's south of
That's
Dixieland.
above the parallel.
Is it?
Barely, but yeah.
Nah, I'm willing to bet Maryland was in the South. How much money you want to bet on that?
I think Baltimore
$1.
is... or not Baltimore, Maryland.
$1.
Is sort of its own, like,
Isn't
Atlantic
DC
coastal
Maryland?
region.
Historically speaking, any state below the Mason-Dixon line and west of Mississippi would be considered the South, which Maryland and Washington, D.C. are.
Oh,
You have been bested, my friend.
very good. I apologize.
You just got served
On
up.
air.
Maryland style. Treat you like a
History
crab
burned.
cake.
So
Idiot.
Booth had promised his mother at the outbreak of the war that he would not enlist as a soldier. But he increasingly became agitated at not fighting for the South, writing in a letter to her, "I have begun to deem myself a coward and to despise my own existence." So dramatic.
Yeah.
In October, Booth made an unexplained trip to Montreal, which was the center of a clandestine Confederate activity. He spent 10 days in the city, staying for a time at St. Lawrence Hall, which was a rendezvous for the Confederate Secret Service. and
In
meeting-
Montreal?
Yeah, oddly enough. And meeting several Confederate agents there. No conclusive proof has linked Booth's kidnapping or assassination plots to a conspiracy involving the leadership of the Confederate government.
But
Historian David Herbert Donald, that's literally my script, like you said, but historian David Herbert Donald states that at least at the lower levels of the Southern Secret Service, the abduction of the Union president was under consideration. Yeah.
It's a
Historian,
badass way to handle things.
right?
I like.
Yeah.
I like the gall. I'm
Right.
appreciating the gall here.
no, you want to repeat that? I like the Confederacy. Means you take that soundbite.
You like
That's
that
what-
pause? I like the gall.
That's why they approach you.
Yeah, earlier today we said that we needed a viral video. There you go.
There we go. Also, I love the South is just like, we'll create a secret agent space.
Yeah, we have our own secret service,
but
which
like
I didn't know.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
but like it's not only
Well, they had
in
their
a
own
different
president.
country, but it's
Yeah.
hella up north.
It was Jefferson Davis,
Isn't that
right?
weird?
That makes
I've
no
always
sense.
found that so weird that they went to Canada. Although I guess it's that weird divide and conquer thing. We
It's
were
the
thinking that
North
they're, like,
South.
so far past the enemy lines, so they can like view it from the top, for lack of better phrasing. You know what I mean?
Nah, if I was in, like if it were up to me, I'd be like, oh man, we should probably set it up in Puerto Rico. And I just
Extra south.
And then just chill there.
yeah, post up.
And you just be like, this place
Wait,
actually rocks.
It's actually really nice here.
You'd make a terrible Jefferson Davis.
These people are really nice. I might have been wrong. I hate to say it, y'all. I think I was wrong.
But historian Thomas Goodrich concludes that Booth entered the Confederate Secret Service as a spy and courier.
Ooh.
Yeah. Now, Lincoln won a landslide re-election in early November of 1864
The hat
on a platform that advocated abolishing slavery altogether
and the hat.
by constitutional amendment. Booth, meanwhile, devoted increased energy and money to his kidnapping plot.
I hate the hat.
Like he's just listing things like he's a bitch. He's against what we stand for.
He doesn't have a mustache and his hat sucks.
And that goddamn hat. You're already 6'8". Why do you need the hat?
Now, for real, like just to give y'all perspective, this is basically like Brad Pitt trying to kidnap and or assassinate Obama. I mean, literally, that's like he's one of the most famous.
I don't know. I think we should change the actor here. More like Mel Gibson.
Okay, fine. This is Mel
Either
Gibson.
way, I'm watching that movie.
This is Mel Gibson in the 90s trying to.
It's Nick Cage.
Nick Cage trying to kill Obama.
But if you think about it, like
I'm going to steal the president of the United States.
it's like the hottest actor, like physically speaking and monetarily speaking, and like the biggest, best plays and the biggest, best theaters.
So for the Zoomers,
wanting to kill the president, and a good one at that.
If
so
Timothy Chalamet was going to kill Joe Biden.
No, a good president.
Is there a good president?
Since comparing it to Lincoln and our
Oh,
era,
are we doing comparisons or are we talking about good
yeah.
presidents? Because there ain't no good presidents, son.
No, there's zero. Well, George Washington was decent
He
for
owned
his time.
slaves.
Everybody owned slaves.
Oh, so
then.
that makes it okay?
no.
What about FDR? You're gonna
FDR.
FDR was decent. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Well, he did intern Japanese people.
Okay.
you
This
can't
is
walk,
Don't
you can't
give me
walk
that
away with clean hands in presidency.
That's kind of my point.
I feel like you
Right.
can't be president
but
of anything.
person at the job. Like no.
President of... Grant, what you got next? This
I told
is
you.
a time suck.
you got a president
That's what I'm
from a
saying.
different country that's
We're
just
about to
kicking
jump
ass,
down a
taking
timeline
names.
that's not gonna work.
Yeah, and his name is Putin.
He just wins every presidential election.
Yeah, I mean, isn't it? Don't you guys think it's crazy he's been in power so long? He must be doing a good job. Otherwise, someone would have tried to stop him or challenge
He
him.
made Tucker Carlson his bitch.
Okay. So now let's jump to a seemingly random person named Tom
a
Corbett.
seemingly named person.
Seemingly
A
semen
semen, a semen named
Semen
person.
named person.
Mhm.
Yes.
This man's
I'm
name
a
is
swimmer.
I'm Cum Johnson.
I'm Colin Johnson.
This person's name is Tom Corbett. He was born in 1832
Tom
in London.
Cumbit.
When he was 7, his family moved to Troy, New York. Tom started working as a milliner, or that's a hatter.
Oh.
So Corbett was regularly exposed to the fumes of mercury 2 nitrate. As
Mercury
all
2 nitrate?
hatters were. Mercury 2 nitrate.
Oh, two.
Oh, that's where the Mad Hatter phrase comes from.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Oh.
that's right.
That at the time was used in the treatment for fur to produce felt, and one of these old school hats that everyone wore. I don't know if y'all remember if I've mentioned this in another episode, but at that time period, the only reason for being in public without a hat is your house is actively on fire or you just got mugged. Like, literally, strangers would come up to ask if you were okay if you did not have a head covering on in public.
Dude, well, let's go back to that. That sounds awesome.
So these hats are just being fucking just
hat crazy.
Just cranked out. And people making these hats were literally handling and breathing mercury fumes all day.
And these people are wearing mercury-laden things, which probably isn't as bad as breathing it in, but still probably not great.
It's probably not great.
You guys might know this.
My head's green.
I got a question. Why was it, like, back then, why was everything so toxic? Like, why was...
We didn't know no better.
But, like, how did we pick the most toxic shit? Was it just because it was cheap
for us?
I think it's because the cheapest, most readily available things often tend to be the most dangerous.
And it made the fastest results, right?
Right, because we also treat a lot of things now, and we use a lot of different methods in order to produce something non-toxic, right? But that takes trial and error and also a lot of extra money and time and effort.
I didn't know if they were like, I like the red one. No, this glowing green thing is cool.
Actually, there's a whole thing on that with
the radium girls.
Yeah.
The radium girls. Oh, that's so sad.
Oh
so
yeah,
sad.
dude. You guys heard of thalidomide babies?
Mm-hmm.
I haven't heard that one.
Both of those are too dark for me to
either of
cover.
those.
Yeah.
I do want to cover those, but
we should cover them at some point. Long story short, there was a medicine that they prescribed to pregnant women, and they were like, this will be really good for you. Flipper babies.
And then with the radium girls, people liked stuff that glowed in the dark. And so they would paint it on shit.
Like watches.
Yeah. And they got a whole bunch of women like jobs to paint it. And they would use like, what's it? Radium. Which
they would just paint with radium.
Yeah, which is radioactive stuff.
Yeah.
And all of them like
their
died,
jaws,
lost, like
their jaws would fall off.
Yeah, lost
horrific.
Yeah, it was horrible.
But you're glowing.
Honey, you're just glowing.
Thanks.
This is what happens when you give women jobs, man. They find a way to make you the bad guy.
Yeah. So people that were exposed to mercury nitrate, like these hatters, on a daily basis, after a while it would cause hallucinations, psychosis, dementia, and twitching. The twitches were known as hatter's shakes, or the phrase "mad as a hatter" was very common after we figured this out. But at the time, Tom worked as a milliner. It was considered a good and honorable job. They hadn't put two and two together yet. Tom married, got his wife pregnant. Life was looking good. Story over. No. His wife died during childbirth. So Tom...
You almost had me.
Tom lost his shit. He started drinking heavily, lost his job, and found himself without a house, and somehow in the streets of Boston. He was in New York. We lost track of him historically.
Man, that's a hell of a bender.
I know.
Especially back in the day, because it wasn't like you could just hop in an Uber.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or a train. Like, if you wake up in Boston and you were in New York when you started drinking, that's crazy. You, like, took a horse or something.
I don't know. Like, walked for a while?
Yeah.
Stumbled from saloon to saloon down your way? I don't know.
Fell asleep on a wagon?
Yeah,
I don't know.
The ever-drunk Tom with black hair, black eyes, and hatter's shakes was a man about town. One night in the 1850s, Tom stumbled upon something interesting on a street corner that mesmerized him. It was known as a sidewalk church. He was hooked and always attended, screaming, "Glory to God," and "Come to Christ." But it was to the point where it annoyed the street ministers. They eventually talked him into posting up on his own corner.
Have you thought about being a Satanist? Because you're bumming me out, dude.
This man was too crazy for the rest of the, like, end is nigh
for a guy
guys.
who stands on the street and screams about Jesus.
Just trying to hustle dumb people out of their money. He's like, yes, he's right. And I was like, okay, good. Just come
Dude,
down,
I'm just trying to watch a football game.
But I'm saying, like, the hyper religious people that are on sidewalks nowadays, sandwich boards,
milk crate.
Tom was too crazy for those people.
Damn.
Like, they pushed him into a side street, just like, stay away from us. Do your own thing over there, buddy. You know. So at the age
the
of
end is nigh.
Do I want to lower the bar?
Yes, you do.
Yes.
God hates fags. Yeah, and the nuclear family. No, he doesn't do that.
Hold up there.
Wait a second.
Yeah. He's out crazying the crazies. So at the age of 26 years young.
He's only 26 at this point?
He's
Wow.
only 26 at this point. He
I
took
thought he was like 50.
I know.
Broken
He's
down.
accomplished more of it in his life than I can even dream.
He took up his own quote-unquote ministry and was a changed man. He swore off drinking, grew his beard and hair out like Jesus, and was baptized. Tom, from then on, was known as Boston Corbett. He also became known as the Glory to God man by the local church congregations because he would regularly visit and, shall we say, zealous behavior would just run in, yell glory to God over and over again over the sermon that's happening until they'd kick his ass out.
So he's poaching other churches' parishioners
I guess trying to.
with his
in own
craziness.
crazy ass way. Yeah.
This reminds me of the story that you told me earlier today with the lady getting off of the plane.
Oh, yeah. Just getting escorted out. I'm water. You can't be mad at me for having water because we're all water.
You can't be mad at me for loving Jesus. That's why we're all here, right?
Yeah, seriously. That's that man.
Glory be to God.
Now, one day he's posted up on his favorite corner, and two ladies of the evening approached him. This caused a strange sensation in the pants.
Say that again.
Okay.
Two prostitutes approached him while he's preaching,
Right.
and that got his penis to tingle.
He's like, must be that mercury.
Yeah.
Boston
glory be to God.
found this feeling to be improper for a man of God.
Oh,
so he
no.
went home and
Oh.
castrated himself with a pair of scissors.
Better than
yeah.
what I thought you were about to say.
Hell yeah.
But still unexpected. Okay.
This man means business. He is.
You know what? He's walking the talk.
Yeah,
man.
he's walking 10 toes in, 2 feet in.
Yep.
Yeah.
Practice what you preach.
Yeah.
I
Exactly.
mean, damn, dude. All right. I thought he was going to kill those two sex workers, but no, castrating himself, way better.
With a pair of scissors, baby.
With a pair of scissors.
So
Sober, too. Like, he's not even getting hammered.
he was sober, actually, yeah. So when he was done, old empty purse Corbett strolled down.
First.
He strolled on down to a prayer meeting. Then had a nice
Still
dinner.
bleeding.
Then had a nice dinner, followed by a long walk through the city
Hang on. Does he say, like, how he castrates himself? Or he just...
with a pair of scissors.
So you cut
I mean,
his
like,
balls off? Or
kinda-
like,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
ah,
I'm pretty sure he just did like the cattle approach, if you will. Yeah. Yeah.
ah.
I know. It's
I'd say
terrible.
the man had balls to do that, but apparently not.
Not anymore.
Do you think he, like, sewed himself back shut? Or, like, do you think it was, like, cauterized?
Well, so
It's like I'm doing a thing.
he after doing that, he went down straight to a prayer meeting. Then he had a nice dinner, followed by a walk through the city. Then he checked himself into the hospital.
Jesus Christ, the sheer will.
I should probably go to the hospital.
My pants are just red.
Oh,
Like, he's just telling people, like, yeah, I just castrated myself. You go to a hospital.
Go to a hospital.
No, I don't need a hospital.
what do doctors know?
Now, later he would say that he was divinely instructed to spread the good word of the Lord without the primal desires of animalistic passions.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
He took weeks to heal from his own incision decision.
Yeah, I bet. Probably didn't do a fucking tidy job of it.
I highly doubt it. In April of 1861, early in the
Mister, you're
American
walking
Civil
funny.
War,
Shut up, kid. I don't even care about you anymore.
Boston Corbett enlisted as a private in Company I of the Union Army's 12th New York State Militia. Corbett's eccentric behavior quickly got him into trouble. He carried a Bible with him at all times and read passages aloud from it regularly, held unauthorized prayer meetings, and argued with his superior officers. He was known for breaking out into praise songs randomly and constantly. Corbett also condemned officers and superiors for what he perceived as violations of God's words.
But they didn't like that.
In one instance, he verbally reprimanded Colonel Daniel Butterfield for using profanity and taking the Lord's name in vain. He was sent to the guardhouse for several days, but refused to apologize for his insubordination. Due to his continued disruptive behavior and refusal to take orders, Corbett was court-martialed and sentenced to be shot.
What?
Shut the fuck up!
I'm picturing fucking Full Metal Jacket drill sergeant. He's like, excuse me, sergeant, but you're taking the Lord's name in vain. And he's like, I fucking what?
Dude, honestly, I think Corbett was so much more aggressive than that. I
Yeah.
think,
You think so?
The drill
Yeah, that's
sergeant
true, you're
is
right.
doing
He
his
is kind of
thing, and he would
unhinged.
just step up and just yell at him, like, "You're taking the Lord's name in vain. Glory be, glory be." You know, like, seriously, I think he was just that guy.
No wonder they were going to fucking shoot him.
Yeah, I mean, I think it got to the point where, like, just fucking shoot the guy.
Yeah. Like, let's just be done.
His sentence was eventually reduced, and he was discharged.
We can't shoot the guy. Why not?
Listen to him.
He was discharged in August of 1863. Corbett re-enlisted later that month
My God. They're like, he's back.
as a private in Company L, 16th New York Cavalry Regiment.
This
At
is
the-
the Union Army.
Oh, they're both Union armies, yeah.
Right. But
Yeah,
I'm saying he's in the Union Army.
Yeah, the whole time he's in the Union Army, but this is like far enough removed to where nobody knows his name in the second one that he enlists in just a month later. Like, within the month, actually, within 30 days.
Also in 1863, I mean, that was when they were pretty in the middle of the Civil War, you know, things
Yeah.
were bad. So they probably looked at an extra body and were like, whatever, fuck it, get in here,
Yeah.
man.
Just put the Bible down, will you? No! All right, fine.
I will
Right,
kill them.
Yeah.
I'll kill them all with my Bible.
All right, you know what? Get back in line. That's it. That's good. We like that.
So, on June 24th, 1864, he was captured by Confederate States Army troops led by John S. Mosby in Culpeper, Virginia, and held as a prisoner of war at Andersonville prison for 5 months.
Captured, or even like left
So-
behind? And
Well, no, the Confederate Army, they had won that particular battle, and they basically captured all of the Union soldiers that Corbett was a part of. Right?
Damn.
It wasn't just him.
Not just him. There was
Like,
a bunch of
he
them.
woke up in his tent. Everyone else was gone.
That'd have been amazing. Now, while it's on his way to Andersonville, the following incident happened, told by a fellow prisoner of Corbett's named William Collins. So here's a little
you just
story
a
about this man.
POW. You're fucking caught. You're like, this is gonna suck. You got the most annoying guy in the world. in your camp.
Like, honestly, being a POW is not as bad as hanging out with this guy.
All right, so check it out. A story by this man. At Macon, there were about 1,000 prisoners who had arrived ahead of us. The train we were on unloaded our 1,000, making 2,000 in all. We were taken to an old pasture or common near the railroad tracks where a furrow was plowed around it for a deadline. There was a small stream of water close to the guard line, and the prisoners made a rush for it. Most of them had no water for many hours, but the guards kept them back. One of the more venturesome than the rest got through the line and attempted to fill his canteen. He was immediately shot in the arm with buckshot by one of the guards. He was pushed back among our men and laid under a tree. The wounded man suffered greatly and called for water to ease his pain, but none had any in his canteen. Boston Corbett stepped out of the ranks, having been unable to stand silent any longer. He crossed the deadline, filled his canteen in the stream, and gave the wounded man a drink. The guards continually threatened him with death, but Corbett ignored him and went about his business. Despite their threats, he returned unharmed and rejoined the ranks of prisoners. The cheers of the soldiers at this brave deed could have been heard 1 mile away, but Corbett seemed to think it was not out of the ordinary. It was the bravest deed that I had seen during the war. We arrived at Andersonville prison the next day.
Wow.
That's pretty badass.
I mean, that's credit where it's due.
glory
like-
be to God.
I know.
Praise be.
So Corbett was released in a prisoner exchange in November of 1864.
Yeah, I
and
bet they
was-
picked him first for the prisoner exchange.
Right, and was admitted to a military hospital in Annapolis, Maryland, where he was treated for scurvy, malnutrition, and exposure. Upon Corbett's return to his company, he was promoted to the rank of sergeant.
Ugh.
This
Hell
was a
yeah.
private that was going to be
Hell
shot,
yeah. Hell yeah.
re-enlisted, did some badass shit, and now he's a sergeant all of a sudden.
Man.
Mind you, he's still ballless and fucking batshit crazy.
He's in his second act.
Just want to remind you.
Are you sure that he didn't cut off his dick instead of his balls?
No, it's his testicles.
Is there proof of that?
Yeah.
So
He's a very famous guy.
The doctor's report just reads, ew.
Well, wouldn't he have like kind of like in Fight Club? Wouldn't like the structure of his body, because now he doesn't have testosterone? Wouldn't his body like freak out, making him have like bitch tits?
I don't think he would produce estrogen, but I don't know that he's producing testosterone
Yeah, I mean,
anymore
I have
or
to
as
assume his
much.
testosterone levels are pretty low, but he seems pretty driven on his own accord.
I mean, think of the eunuch in Game of Thrones.
That's true. That's very true. You can be a low T soy boy and still
have ambition.
have ambition.
Okay, I'm
Thank
back
you,
in.
Austin.
Go ahead.
You're welcome.
Right. Meanwhile, on October 11th, 1865, John Wilkes Booth was in the crowd outside the White House when Lincoln gave an impromptu speech from his window. Pretty famous speech. During the speech, Lincoln stated that he was in favor of granting suffrage for two former slaves. Infuriated, Booth vowed to kill him and declare that it would be the last speech that Lincoln would ever make. On the morning of Good Friday, April 14th, 1865, Booth went to Ford's Theater to get his mail. While there, he was told by John Ford's brother that the president and Mrs. Lincoln would be attending the play that evening, accompanied by General and Mrs. Ulysses S. Grant.
And he was like, oh.
He immediately set about making plans for the assassination, which included making arrangements with livery stable owner James W. Pumphrey for a getaway horse and an escape route. Later that night, 8:45, Booth informed three men, Powell, Harold, and Atzerodt, of his intention to kill Lincoln. He assigned Powell to assassinate the Secretary of State William S. Stewart, Atzerodt to assassinate Vice President Andrew Johnson, and Harold would assist in their escape into Virginia. He was clearly trying to decapitate the Union government. But funny enough, in 1865, the next in line wasn't the Secretary of State. It was actually the, quote, President pro tempore of the U.S. Senate. At the time, it was a man named Lafayette S. Foster. And the possibility of assassinating Grant was foiled because Grant's wife didn't like Lincoln's wife, so they went to visit relatives in New Jersey instead of going to this play. That's literally the only reason that Ulysses S. Grant didn't get shot the same night. Because his wife had beef with Mary Todd.
But I mean, Grant was also a soldier, you know? I mean, if he'd been there, he might have fucking pulled some John Wick shit.
Yeah, maybe.
You know?
Maybe. Yeah.
Not saying he would have, but you know.
Wasn't
But also, Grant would be at a play. That means he'd be drunk off.
I was
going to
say Ulysses S. Grant was a notorious drunk.
But I feel like Ulysses S. Grant can throw hands when he's knocking the whiskey back.
Oh, for sure.
I mean,
you know what I mean?
Sure.
Probably.
That
You got
man's
that
been in a bar fight
old
or
man
two.
Oh, yeah.
PTSD, anger, just
And also,
burning
back in the
inside of
day,
him.
you just get into fights because you don't have anything else to do, and you can't talk about your feelings. You know,
There's
So
no
you're-
Netflix.
Yeah.
You know, there's no therapists. It's
Yeah.
just whiskey in hands, you know?
You gotta give points to John Wilkes Booth, because in his head, this is a badass plan.
Oh, it's a great plan.
This is like
Honestly.
fucking what's the murder wedding in Game of Thrones?
Oh, the Red
the
Wedding?
Red
Yeah,
Wedding.
this
Wedding.
is just like, we're gonna take them all down.
100%. Yeah.
Gonna take them all down. The South will rise again.
Well, exactly to that point, Booth had hoped that the assassinations would create enough chaos within the Union that the Confederate government could reorganize and continue the war.
The South will rise again.
I mean, that was his plan. like,
hell
for
yeah.
real.
That's the soundbite for this episode.
So, Booth being Booth, he had free access to all parts of Ford's Theater, as a famous and popular actor.
Because he was performing there too, right?
all the time.
Yeah.
Right? And again, like I mentioned, he had his fucking mail sent there, right? So after spending time at the saloon during the intermission, Booth entered Ford's Theater one last time at 10:10 p.m. In the theater, he slipped into Lincoln's box around 10:14. As the play progressed, he shot the president in the back of the head with a .41 caliber Derringer pistol. Booth then jumped from the president's box onto the stage, which is a pretty big fucking leap, by the way, where he raised his knife and shouted, "Sic semper tyrannis," which is Latin for "thus always to tyrants," attributed to Brutus at Caesar's assassinations.
Which admittedly is a badass thing to yell after you just killed someone.
Also, actors always be actoring.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
According to some accounts, Booth added, "I have done it. The South is avenged."
Hell yeah.
Less badass to say. Stop giving them hell yes.
I'm just expecting
Just because we live in the South, we don't have to like think the way that they used to think.
I'm like,
How am I losing the lower the bar game?
Austin's sitting there like,
by
this
the
was
way.
my moment.
like I'm imagining he has the horse, right? And the horse has like a huge flag and has
A Confederate flag.
Don't tread on me. That's what I'm thinking.
It would be a Confederate flag, I
Big
think.
Maybe a
Confederate
Confederate
flag,
flag.
Especially for the time.
Don't
Yeah.
tread on me was Revolutionary War.
Oh,
It'd be the stars and bars, baby.
Stars and bars all day.
blue live bumper sticker kind of thing. Yeah.
Slapped on the horse's ass. All lives matter.
That's really good. That's really good.
That's terrible.
So,
He rides away on a horse called Leonard Skinner.
yeah. Now, some witnesses reported that Booth fractured or otherwise injured his leg when his spur snagged a decorative U.S. Treasury guard flag while leaping onto the stage.
All the things to trip on.
Well, if you think about it, that's what we have envisioned in our head, like from school or whatever, is he jumps down, he hurts himself, and he limps off stage, right? They don't think that that's actually true, which is just interesting. That's why I put this in here. But
He like somersaulted when he hit the stage because he was lithe and agile.
yeah.
Apparently rippling with muscle.
Yeah.
If
But,
all these critics are to be believed.
Historian Michael W. Kaufman questioned this legend, writing that eyewitnesses' accounts of Booth's hurried stage exit made it unlikely that his leg was broken then. Kaufman contends that Booth was injured later that night during his fight to escape when his horse tripped and fell on him.
Oh yeah, hang on. Didn't he have like a lame horse or something like
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why'd they pick a lame horse?
There's a lot to it.
Yeah.
I really want to focus on Boston Corbett because
Okay.
he's more fun, but their a whole bunch.
Bad decisions
to
were
this
made.
whole- yeah, bad decisions were made. He had a shitty horse that fell on him.
Away!
Yeah.
This horse is 2 days away from retirement.
Right. So this is all this being said is
Getting too old for this.
all this calls Booth's claim to the contrary an exaggeration to portray his own actions as heroic. So basically, Booth, before he was killed, was the one that tried to say that, oh no, I hurt my leg when I jumped and said that badass thing and ran away. In fact, it seemed like it was this shitty horse that he hopped on to flee. So he then fled into the woods with his buddy David Harold that I mentioned earlier. They made it to a stash of guns and supplies and managed to travel from Ford's Theater in D.C. to Garrett's Farm in Bowling Green, Virginia, which is roughly 80 miles away in about 10 days,
Okay.
which is pretty impressive.
Yeah.
But the kicker to all this is that he had people on the inside all along the way providing provisions and the daily paper.
Damn, he had like a whole network?
Again, this is fucking like Brad Pitt or
Yeah.
Mel Gibson. Like, this is a very famous, powerful, liked guy in the acting world.
Yeah.
You know, he did something, as we now view, shitty in retrospect. But at the time, there were a lot of people that were super pissed off.
He's
about
also
Lincoln
in Virginia,
doing
which is
Lincoln shit.
Confederacy territory.
Yeah, right. He had a lot of supporters. You
Yeah.
know? But the kicker to all this is that Everyone, including Robert E. Lee, were pissed at what he did. They were condemning him for his actions. So he's stuck in the woods being raked across the coals publicly because the South lost. Lincoln won. Like, we're moving on into a new era, and this jackass actor shoots the president in the back of the head, jumps on the stage,
Robert Lee's
interrupting
like,
a play.
God damn it!
I didn't sign off for this shit.
We were so close. God damn it, this ruins everything. Back to the drawing board.
John Wilkes gets the newspaper from one of his friends. Like,
Yeah.
What do you mean?
I just wanted fame.
You know, Sherman was like sharpening his sword, reloading a musket. Like, do I have to march through Atlanta again?
I'll do it.
I'll do it in
I had
a
a great
fucking
time the
moment's now.
first
You know
time.
what? I'll go from Atlanta all the way to goddamn California. I don't give a shit.
So, meanwhile, on April 24th, 1865, Corbett's regiment was sent to apprehend John Wilkes Booth. Harold immediately surrendered, but Booth refused and cried out. Now, reminder, they're stuck in a barn
Right.
in some random dude's farm.
So the New York cavalry is combing through the woods trying to find this guy.
They track them down to this
They get to the barn and they're
where
like,
Booth
"We
and
got his
Harold
ass."
are stuck in this barn.
Yeah.
Harold is like, okay, no, fuck it, I'm out. You know,
Yeah.
like gun dropped.
I'm sorry.
walking out. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, we had a good run, but
Yeah. Booth is in there and cries out, "I will not be taken alive." The barn was set on fire
Hell
in an
yeah.
attempt to force him out into the open, but Booth remained inside.
damn.
Boston Corbett was positioned near a large crack in the barn wall. In an 1878 interview, Corbett claimed that he saw Booth aim his carbine, prompting him to shoot Booth with his Colt revolver, despite Secretary of War Edwin Stanton's order that Booth be captured alive. The bullet struck Booth in the back of the head, near his left ear, passed through his neck, and out into the barn. A low scream of pain came from the assassin, and he pitched headlong onto the floor.
a
Corbett-
low scream, like,
Yeah, it's like, you know. Corbett and the other soldiers would note a sense of poetic or cosmic justice that Lincoln and Booth were each shot around the same spot of the head. But a historian, Mary Clemmer, summed it up. The balls entered the skull of each at nearly the same spot, but the trifling difference made an immeasurable difference in the sufferings of the two. Mr. Lincoln was unconscious of all pain, while his assassin suffered in this exquisite agony, as if he had been broken on a wheel.
Oof.
Booth died 3 hours after Corbett shot him. So 3 hours of intense pain, because I think it shattered a lot of vertebrae on its way out. Yeah.
hang on. So the barn is on fire. He's dying. Like, go get him in, boys.
Yeah.
They just
Bring him
drag
out.
him out.
They just-
He's probably just like, we got him. Bleeding from his
Yeah, he probably
fucking
can't.
head.
It's probably
Yeah.
too, like, I imagine he's incapacitated and just, like, unable to speak. Or does he
Yeah.
have, like, any, like, final
No.
last words?
His last words were, "I won't be taken alive."
No, his last words were.
Fair. Yeah, that's better.
It's written down as bloody foaming.
So the commanding officer, Conger, he initially thought Booth had shot himself. After realizing that Booth had been shot by someone else, Conger and Lieutenant Doherty asked which officer had shot Booth. Corbett stepped forward and admitted he was the shooter. When asked why he had violated orders, Corbett replied, "Providence directed me."
Not the worst answer.
He was immediately arrested and was
Providence, Rhode
accompanied-
Island. Speaks to us all.
It's just like a postcard for Providence, Rhode Island. Just says, shoot him on the postcard.
I read the postcard. I don't know what. So he's Corbett was accompanied by Lieutenant Doherty to the War Department in Washington, D.C. to be court-martialed. When questioned by Secretary Edwin Stanton about Booth's capture and shooting, both Doherty and Corbett himself agreed that Corbett in fact disobeyed orders not to shoot. However, Corbett maintained that he believed Booth had intended to shoot his way out of the barn, and he acted in self-defense. He told Stanton, "Booth would have killed me if I had not shot first. I think I did right." Corbett maintained that he did not intend to kill Booth, but merely want to inflict a disabling wound. But either his aim slipped or Booth moved at the moment Corbett pulled the trigger. Stanton paused and then stated, "The rebel is dead. The patriot lives. He has spared the country's expense. Continued with excitement and trouble. Discharge the patriot." So he's saying, yeah, it saved us a lot of time and money. It's done, you know. Upon leaving the War Department, Corbett was greeted by a cheering crowd as he made his way to Matthew Brady's studio to have his official portrait taken. So he leaves a court-martial meeting, is greeted by a cheering crowd, and immediately goes to have his portrait taken.
Hell yeah.
Corbett's kind of the comeback kid. I mean, he was,
God.
dude, they were going to execute him, and then he became a war hero, and then they were going to court-martial him, and now he's a national treasure.
I feel like we should make a movie, but his only line should be "Glory be to God."
Glory be!
Hang on. So did he have the portrait thing scheduled, whether he was going to be like court-martialed or not?
From the best I can surmise, he is just this religious zealot that's just going with the flow. And he sees a guy that they're supposed to like apprehend, and he shoots him and then comes up with some bullshit. And he's, instead of being court-martialed, he sees a cheering crowd, and then someone else ushers him over to a portraiture. Like, I think he's just being like, "Oh, okay, I guess I'll go over."
I don't have anything planned.
Man's walking with Christ.
He's walking with Christ. I mean,
You don't
seriously.
ask where Christ is taking you. You follow.
Yeah.
So the crowd that followed him asked for autographs and requesting that they tell him about him shooting Booth. And Corbett told the crowd, "I aimed at his body. I did not want to kill him. I think he stooped to pick something up, just as I fired. That may probably account for his receiving the ball in the head. When the assassin lay at my feet, a wounded man, and I saw the bullet had taken effect about an inch back of the ear, and I remembered that Mr. Lincoln was wounded about the same part of the head, I said, 'What a God we have. God avenged Abraham Lincoln.'"
They probably ate that up.
Yeah.
They loved that
I'm
shit.
sure they did.
At that time period?
Yeah.
Man, that is some good stuff. So, after his
Blue Eye
discharge...
football rules.
So after his discharge from the Army in August of 1865, Corbett went back to work as a milliner in Boston.
What?
And frequently attended the Bromfield Street Church. When the hatting business in Boston slowed, Corbett moved to Danbury, Connecticut to continue his work, and also, quote, "preached in the country roundabout." That's his quote.
Ooh.
By 1870, he had relocated once again to Camden, New Jersey, where he was known as a Methodist lay preacher, which I'm not entirely sure what that means. Also, continuing to be a milliner. Corbett's inability to hold a job was attributed to his financial behavior and his fanatical behavior. He was routinely fired after continuing his habit of stopping work to pray for his coworkers. In an effort to earn money, Corbett capitalized on his role as Lincoln's Avenger. He gave lectures about the shooting of Booth, accompanied by illustrated lantern slides at Sunday schools, women's group, and Bible meetings. Corbett
lectures is this guy giving?
Corbett was never asked back to any of these due to his increasingly erratic behavior and incoherent speeches.
man, you're just
Everyone
like,
in this room is now dumber having heard it.
yeah, you're just like, man, we're about to hear the man who avenged our president, the man who is a national hero, killing terrorists like John Wilkes Booth. You get this fucking lug in there just screaming about revelations.
Yeah.
You know what a band is just like? They've been like a Metallica kind of band. Like they were huge, they stopped, and they're like, we're gonna get back to our roots.
Guns N' Roses.
Yeah, shit like that.
Yeah, that's a good one.
This is him. He got back to his roots, and now he's pumping out the worst shit of his life.
This is Axl Rose.
Yeah.
Now having put
Fat
on the
Axl
weight
Rose, yeah.
of equivalently one Duff McKagan, who is coming out to sing "Welcome to the Jungle" and losing his breath the whole time.
You know for a fact he made sure to get the check before he did anything on stage.
Oh yeah.
Cash in hand.
Yeah. So a man named R.B. Hoover, he later befriended Corbett. He recalled that Boston Corbett believed, quote, men who were high in authority at Washington at the time of the assassination were hounding him. Corbett said the men were angry because he had deprived them of prosecuting and executing John Wilkes Booth themselves. He also believed the same men had
Y'all are just jealous. Just jealous of what I've done.
He also believed that the same men had gotten him fired from various jobs.
That's the paranoia and Mercury talking.
Corbett's paranoia was furthered by hate mail he received for killing Booth. He became fearful that Booth's Avengers, or organizations like the Secret Order, were planning to seek revenge upon him and took to carrying a pistol with him at all times.
Booth's Avengers.
Led by Thanos.
Booth's Avengers is Marvel's Phase like 6. Like when they're trying to win back like people. They're like, let's just aim for the South. Let's get them. Captain America. And he just pulls out a Stars and Bars shield and he's like, not anymore. It's like, oh no.
So as Corbett's paranoia increased, he began brandishing his pistol at friends or strangers he deemed suspicious. While attending the soldiers' reunion of the Blue and Gray in Caldwell, Ohio in 1875, Corbett got into an argument with several men over the death of John Wilkes Booth. The men questioned if Booth had really been killed at all, which enraged Corbett.
I'm sure.
He then drew his pistol on the men, but was removed from the reunion before he could fire it.
Was he even invited?
Yeah, he was invited because he's like a hero. He's like a war hero. And so they like, on paper, this guy looks great. They don't have TV. They don't have radio. They don't know how fucking
I can't wait to meet this hero, this legend, the myth.
They don't know how fucking crazy this guy is. So he keeps getting letters to be like, hey, come to this thing. And he's like, hell yeah. And he shows up and they're like, oh, fuck.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So in 1878, Corbett moved to Concordia, Kansas, where
This guy's moving all over.
all over.
By the way, this guy's not played with Nick Cage. It's absolutely Gary Busey.
1000%.
Yes. Yeah. So this is like Gary Busey tried to kill Obama.
Right.
But he succeeded. That's the worst part.
No, this Corbett guy. He's
That's
Gary
right.
Busey.
Gary Busey.
Wilkes
Gary
Booth.
Busey killed Brad Pitt, who
Right.
killed
Tried to
Obama.
kill- who killed Obama.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Sorry, thank you. Yeah, perfect.
Still would watch this movie.
Yeah, this movie's
I
awesome.
watched the shit out of this movie.
This is like 99% on Rotten Tomatoes. This is a good movie.
And that's when I drew my pistol. Had the fire of God in my eyes.
Glory be to God. Just licking his lips the whole time.
So in 1878, like I said, Corbett moved to Concordia, Kansas, where he acquired a plot of land through homesteading. Then he constructed a dugout home, which is just, he literally dug a giant hole And put a roof over it, by the way. That's what a dugout home is. Yeah, I know.
Gary Busey move.
Totally.
This is my Hobbit home.
He's making fun of other people's homes. Y'all are stupid. I didn't have to get the wood. I just dig a hole.
All this time, he continued working as
Got a badger neighbor.
Hang on, so he pulled a Patrick Star. Is this what you're telling me?
Yes, he pulled a Patrick Star.
All this furniture is made out of the dirty dog.
The whole time, he continued working as a preacher and attended revival meetings frequently.
Can you imagine if a guy buried under the ground? Hey, you heard the good word?
Just covered in dirt.
Sitting in a molded dirt lazy boy. Have you thought about the Gospel of Luke today?
Just give me a second.
It's like Pennywise.
Well, let me
Like reaching out of the
Come on over here. Hey,
Want to come to church?
y'all need salvation?
We all float down here.
Let's revisit Leviticus 12.
And you're like, whoa, what? A mole person just asked me about the Bible.
Dude, and he's probably dropping the no, never mind. I was thinking of John Wilkes Booth. John Wilkes Booth is definitely dropping the N-word with
Hard
R.
R.
Hard, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Hard R.
But
No,
so-
Corbett would never.
Corbett would never.
But due to Corbett's
He's
fame,
dropping that hard G.
Yeah.
dude,
Oh, God. All the time.
yeah, due to his fame as Lincoln's Avenger, Corbett was appointed assistant doorkeeper of the Kansas House of Representatives in Topeka in January.
He's still all dirty up.
1887.
So he's like a Walmart greeter for the Kansas State Legislature?
Yes,
What?
1,000%. Yes.
Hell yeah. This is awesome.
On February 15th, he became convinced.
Covered in poison ivy and shit.
Dude, he became convinced that officers of the House were discriminating against him. He jumped to his feet, brandished a revolver, and began chasing the officers out of the building. This is the House of Representatives.
Y'all are making fun of me for having no balls. We didn't know you. What are you talking about?
Having no what? Well, let's see what you say to Mr. Derringer. What?
Luckily,
Those are like in Waterboy, you know, when they're like, when he's like, you talking about my mama? I didn't say nothing about your mama. What?
I love my mama very much. And now you know that.
no one was hurt, and Corbett was arrested. The following day, a judge fucking finally declared Corbett insane and sent him to the Topeka Asylum for the Insane. On May 26, 1888, he escaped from the insane asylum
Yes.
on
Hell yeah,
horseback.
Hang on, did they say how long the trial was for them to figure out that he was crazy?
It took, well, from the moment that he was arrested until he escaped, that's about a year and a half.
So probably a quick trial.
I imagine it
I'm
has to be an
assuming so.
easy.
They
quick
brought him
trial.
in and they were like, yeah.
I imagine he didn't do himself any favors.
Your Honor, I don't need a lawyer.
I'll be representing myself.
And
The Lord is my lawyer.
yeah,
Just
100%.
Gary Busey.
I'd like to give it up to my co-counsel, Jesus, and it's just a Bible sitting on the table.
And he just like quietly waits, you know?
He's like, shush, I can hear Jesus right now.
He says to let me go.
Hey, are you writing that down?
So
I
he's
sentence you to an insane asylum. Judge, I object. Just having no idea.
Yeah,
how
he just
courts-
doesn't understand.
That's not how this works.
and my co-counsel Jesus, he also objects. So he escapes on horseback. He rode to Neodesha, Kansas, where he briefly stayed with a man he met while they were prisoners of war when he was being a badass with the canteen. And everything like that.
Oh, he's got it back for sure, yeah.
When Corbett left, he
Here's the
told
comeback. I can feel it.
his buddy Thatcher that he was going to Mexico. Rather than going to Mexico, Corbett is believed to have settled in a cabin he built in the forests near Hinckley and Pine County in eastern Minnesota.
Okay.
He means
A little far off from Mexico.
He
Yeah.
he goes from
Both start with
Kentucky.
an M.
He says
I'm going to go to Mexico.
He says he's going to Mexico. He somehow makes it.
A lot of pale Mexicans up here.
By the way, he goes from Kentucky to
They look more
Minnesota.
of a Danish descent.
He goes from Kentucky to Minnesota on horseback, saying he's going to Mexico. And
Yeah.
maybe a lie because he thought
I mean-
everybody was against him.
Yeah.
He was mad paranoid. But still, that's a way to go.
Yeah.
This guy's resilient, if not batshit crazy.
Oh, I'm almost like convinced that you're going to lead with, and he's still alive to this day.
Well, so here we go.
Oh, hang on. I've got to say, like, when you say resilient, I feel as though at the first chance of like anything going belly up in a trip, he's just like, I can eat some of y'all if we need to. Like, he's just just
If you need me to, I can eat you.
The Lord told me.
like just throwing in cannibalism. It's like, no, it's just a snowstorm. It'll melt by tomorrow morning. It's like, all right. Well.
I just want to let you know I will eat you if I have to.
Lord willing.
So he builds a fort in a cabin in Minnesota. He is believed to have died in the Great Hinckley Fire on September 1st of 1894.
Okay.
Although there's no proof.
New cryptid.
Yeah, I love this. I love this. And you can still hear his voice
A
on
name.
the wind.
Praise me.
He has no birth
There's no
certificate. He has
historical
no
record.
license. He has no nothing. There is a name close to his that is listed on the people missing or died in that fire.
But you
And
don't
that's-
know.
That's the end of Boston Corbett.
What's the name?
It is Thomas Corbett. But again,
Which was his original name.
that was his original name, but he hadn't been going by that name for a long, long time.
Mm-hmm.
There's a good chance that he did venture into town from time again to like get supplies and stuff, and people probably would know him as that crazy motherfucker.
Yeah.
And every now and again, someone would be like, "I think that's the guy that shot John Wilkes Booth."
Nope.
You know.
I'm Thomas.
So
Boston, I never been there.
it is probably
I never stood on one of them side streets praying the Lord.
probably the case that he did die in this fire.
No.
But-
He made it to Mexico, and he's like a urban myth legend still alive.
Yeah.
Dude, funny enough, there
the
are a
Chupacabra.
lot of like urban myths
He's the
around
Chupacabra.
he is the Chupacabra.
That's right. Just Gary Busey sucking on a goat. Just fucking takes off like dragging it behind him.
Yeah. So like people these days that, still love the idea of the Confederacy, the South will rise again, all that kind of bullshit. They view Boston Corbett as kind of like a
Like a boogeyman?
like a boogeyman, like a villain or whatever.
This guy's way
That's
more awesome
awesome.
than I
So
ever could have
there's
thought.
There's a lot of people that are
telling
like
me-
really deep into this.
You're telling me
shit.
that Billy Bob's reading bedtime stories to his children, also named Billy Bob? Now, make sure that you go to bed before 9 o'clock every night.
Because old crazy
Because
Boston will
old
get
Boston
you.
Corbett is peeking in through your window.
Now remember, if you see an interracial couple walk by and you don't spit on the ground, Boston Corbett will come for you in the night.
If you don't believe in the suffrage of former slaves, he
There's
comes for
a
you.
strange amount of lore around this guy. Like listening to things, like reading into some stuff, I was like, holy shit, like who is this guy? And then found more about him. I was like, oh my God,
I want.
this dude is hilarious.
This dude needs a movie.
We
Yeah.
need at least bumper stickers like "I believe in Boston Corbett."
Merch. That is a great merch.
We get like almost like a Bigfoot silhouette,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
but it's obviously Gary Busey.
holding a Bible.
Right.
Oh, Man, Boston Corbett.
Yeah.
All things are possible through Christ. I think that's the I've learned.
That's the lesson.
That's the lesson
to
for
take
today.
away.
Yeah.
If you carry a Bible around with you, 10% more badass.
Which I do. I carry a Bible in my car at all times.
It's actually, honestly, I want you to give your pitch for it because I think that's smart.
Yeah, it's a genius move. The reason why
Like
I
a
do,
failsafe?
well, like the main thing that happened was
Yeah, sure, officer. I'll get my
My license and
My license
registration.
is-
Oh, sorry.
I
That's
keep it in my
Bible. You know, I just can't get enough of it.
Right.
Sorry.
I should do
Yeah,
that.
you
read
should
it
keep
every
your
day.
you should keep your
Sorry,
registration in your
sorry.
Bible.
Yeah.
Oh, do you need my my insurance? I got that in my second Bible.
Because Jamie's is just in the backseat of the Jeep stained with Fago.
So the reason why I have it is because my mom left a Bible in my car. Like this was years ago. Like left a Bible in the backseat of my car, and I was stupid broke. And my brakes went out. I had to take it to the brake shop, and at the time I had like $300 to my name. I go to the brake shop after everything, and they're like, "Yeah, it'll be $380 to fix everything." And I was like, "Man, I'm gonna be honest. Like, I don't have that. Like, I have $300 to my name, and my paychecks isn't until Friday, and today's Tuesday." And the guy's like, "Yeah, but I saw that Bible in the back seat," and I was like, "Yeah," and it's like, "I'm a man of God, and I can tell you are too." And I'm like, "Oh,
Yes,
totally, yeah,
Yes,
me
absolutely.
too." And he's like, "What church do you go to?" I'm just like, "Which church does my mom go
The
to?"
one down the street. The one down the street.
The one you go to. I've seen you there all the time.
James Leviticus. Off.
So I tell him the church that my mom goes to. He's like, "I go to church with her every Sunday, sometimes on Wednesday, but it's a Hispanic mission." And it's like, "Oh, that's still good." Yeah.
That's still
That's still good.
and he's just like, "Yeah, well, tell you what, I'll do it, and I'll just charge you for the parts, and that'll be $280." And I was like, "Thank you so much, sir. I appreciate it." And he did it, and like I at first I didn't believe it was going to happen. I thought it was some weird scam. He did it, walked away, we shook hands, and I was like, "Thank you." Like,
Well, long term, it is a weird little scam, but you
it
got
worked
cheaper.
out.
Yeah.
I also wear the Mother Mary on my necklace. Worked out again for me, where this lady was reading the Bible at the bar. I was joking around. I was like, "That's a good book, real page turner. Can't put it down." And she's like, "Ha ha ha, yeah." And she was saying like small things about like how good the book is and how it helped it. And I was like, "Yeah, I can see it helping a lot of people." And I just didn't think much about it.
Sure.
She got 2 Mick Ultras, and I was like, "Do you want a third one?" And she was like, "No, I'm just gonna go. I'll just pay out." And she pays out, doesn't say another word to me, doesn't say like, "You're a good soul," nothing crazy. So I'm thinking like, oh, maybe $1 or $2. She tipped me $500.
Damn.
What?
Yeah.
So I'm telling you,
The Lord provides, man. That's all
the
I'm
Lord
saying.
provides.
See, all I got when I walked through TSA with the Quran was a fucking half a hand job and my ass searched.
Yeah.
It doesn't work for all religions. I'm here
That's
to
how
tell
that
you.
works, Joseph.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's better to fake being Christian than anything, I guess.
Not all Abrahamic religions are born equal.
Or treated equal.
Oh, definitely not treated equal.
Not these days.
So, all things can be done through Christ and Christ alone.
You heard it here
You
first.
heard it first.
Well,
What a lesson
on that
we
note,
have garnered.
You guys want to talk about our favorite Bible verses before we close out? Ezekiel 25:17.
Oh, what's the one from Pulp Fiction?
The Ezekiel
Is that what
25:17,
it
you
is?
moron. That was the joke.
I'm sorry. God. Sorry.
Ruined it.
Well, now they get the reference.
Well, that was the story.
All right.
There you go.
Irish murder. I'm Joseph. Thanks for listening.
I'm Austin, somehow still on top of the bar. I don't.
I know.
What happened
So
to you today?
disappointed.
Weird one.
So disappointed.
I think this is something that you guys were really into. You know, this is just something I grew up with. You know, I'm over it.
Racism? History? Religious?
All the above.
Okay.
Because we definitely grew up with a lot of that.
I don't know. At this point, I don't even know what the fuck I'm saying anymore.
You know what?
I'm
That's
Austin. Good night.
Give it time. You'll be well below sea level soon.
Right.
I have a couple words to say. First off, hell yeah, brother. That's one. Two is the South will rise again.
Okay.
That's two.
I want us to get a soundboard and just use those. whenever you need
No,
them.
I've got the soundboard. Yeah.
Yeah.
Use it.
Can we pre-record some racist sayings on your soundboard?
I prefer not, but yeah, we can.
Nice.
And that was awesome, Grant. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
That
That was really
fantastic.
good. Your history
I-
episodes are always
I
fun.
have never laughed harder than on this podcast.
I mean, if we're gauging this on laughter, I feel like it was a good job.
yeah.
You did a good job.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess if you go with God, you can manage to fail upward to such a degree
That
that
you too.
history will remember you, but not really.
You might get to kill someone who killed someone famous.
Like, seriously, I don't know this guy. I did not know this guy before I looked into it. But, like, goddamn, how do we not know this guy? Probably because he's batshit crazy, cut his balls off, and screamed about God too much. But either way,
We should put him on a coin or something at least.
right.
Oh, for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
Like a nickel, you know?
What happened to the Harriet Tubman 20? Weren't we supposed to be doing that?
Oh, that died super fast.
Yeah,
Like,
right?
about a year.
Put him on the 20. I like that.
Yeah, I'll
And
take him
hang
over Jackson.
Hang on, Lincoln's on the
Mhm.
yeah, definitely over Jackson. Jackson.
That was a piece of shit.
He was a real big fuck.
Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
We should do an episode on Jackson because that's a wild.
Dude,
that's a wild
that'll be a
ride.
thing. Yeah, that'd be fun.
Actually, he gave a gigantic wheel of cheese as a gift when he got elected president and invited all the dumbasses, the low breeds.
To eat it with him?
Yeah. It was a massive party at the White House that
Okay.
had to be shut down.
Hell yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
That's a way to go.
We should go to the Hermitage and record. It could be like Night at the Museum,
Yes.
but with a lot more N-words.
That's almost as good as Donald Trump giving McDonald's to the Super Bowl winners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all, like,
I forgot
that's
about
one of my
that.
favored
I
Donald
know.
Trump
I
moments.
think that's one of the best
Oh,
things he's
God.
done, honestly.
'Cause,
Yeah,
like,
you know what? You're right. He is on Andrew Jackson level as far as history is concerned.
as far as being a
bastard.
and a troll, yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking-
Is it a bad idea to do an episode on Donald Trump? Because if you list every funny thing he's done, whew, that's a great episode.
oh,
in my
for
book.
sure.
That would be, ooh.
We could be here for a while.
We'll
but
be here for a
We should
while.
probably hold off on Trump, I think, for maybe just a little bit longer.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a little recent.
I mean,
It
if,
still
if,
stinks.
It still
It's-
stinks.
if things go the way that I think they are, it's probably going to sting again.
Oh,
If,
let's not bring that up. I'm trying to not
Yeah.
think about that.
Yeah.
listen, it's going to get real bad out there, folks.
Yeah.
Take care of each other.
Yep.
Shout out Aaron Bushnell. Bushnell? I think it's, yeah.
If you got any loved ones, hold them.
Yeah.
Just love them a little bit longer.
Hold them a little tighter.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially if they're brown or gay.
Secession
Yeah.
is not
gonna
out of the
happen.
question.
A lot of things are no longer out of the question,
Yeah,
unfortunately.
Well, on that note, goodbye.
Like what you hear? Subscribe. Follow us on Instagram at Trashville_USA. And if there's a true crime story you want the gang to cover, email us at don'temailtrashville@gmail.com. Murder Schmurder is produced by Jamie. Our tracking engineer is Grant. And our mix and mastering engineer is Julie. Incidental music and our theme song is provided by Jules. This has been another production of